Well, we're now joined with Sara Alwan here at the Monday Night Community Show. We're out and about, and we're at the Sheppey College in Sheerness, and there's just been a breakfast lunch. But firstly, Sara, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role at Vestas.
Hi, my name is Sara, as you said. I work for Vestas in the communications department, and I'm with you today because we've just had this consultation breakfast here today, which it was very interesting and went very good. And it's in connection with the V164. For a lot of you, you don't know what the V164 is, but the V stands for Vestas. Vestas builds turbines, that is onshore turbines on land and then offshore turbines at sea. And I think a lot of you might have seen the ones at Blybank or even heard about the turbines at Thanet. And so maybe some of you have also heard about that we have plans to build a manufacturing facility here in Sheerness. Yeah. And that's why we have this consultation breakfast this morning, where we invited people from the business community and others who would like to hear more about what's going on, hear more about the plans, and when we're supposed to actually put this into production. And actually, it's always nice coming from a company to actually talk to the people out there, the local people who live and have their daily lives, and to hear what's on their mind, what's the agenda.
So to cover those concerns and inform people what's actually going to happen. Exactly.
And also to hear what's on their mind. Because the more we know about which concerns people have, the better we will be able to go home and investigate or to talk to key stakeholders, finding out how can we help them, how can we actually make this a reality. So today, some of the questions that we got, we had a variety of questions. Some of them were focusing on, well, which customers does Vestas have? And I think a lot of us, I remember before joining Vestas, I really didn't think about these energy companies because, well, it just turned on the lights. You don't think about who actually produced it. You turn on the TV, you use your flat ironing in the morning. But one of the interesting things about these companies is that the big companies, which we call utilities, is that they are investing heavily in energy, and some of them will invest in oil, some of them will invest in gas, and some of them also invest in wind energy, because they also, of course, want to get as much into the renewable energy as possible. And I think for a lot of us, when we hear the word renewable, it becomes abstract. It really doesn't relate to our daily life.
No.
And I think what we could say is, well, you and I, we want to grow up. We want our kids perhaps to grow up. I don't have any kids yet, but someday, if I get kids, I would like them to grow up in a healthy world, which doesn't pollute them, which allows them to grow up sound and safe. And basically, that's one of the things that drives this renewable industry. And also simply because if it's possible to actually produce energy which doesn't pollute, so why shouldn't you go that path?
So it's harnessing something that's already there.
Exactly, and really wind is for free. You have wind all around you, isn't it? I mean, wind is free. Wind is free for everyone to harness. And there are some areas where you have a better possibility to actually harness that wind than other places. And the areas that we see now in what is called the UK Round 3, that's areas, it goes deeper to the water. It's deep water areas, which means that we have to build new types of turbines, which can actually withstand the depth, but we also want them to be bigger so we can actually harness even more wind.
I was going to say, it's one of the things that's a job for me to imagine, in fact, you can explain to our listeners just how big these turbines will be.
I gave you the name of the turbine before. It's called the V164, but which is just a engineering name. But really, imagine 9 buses, double-decker buses, the red buses, the iconic London buses. 9 of them would be able to go into just one single blade.
Which is just hard to imagine.
Exactly. It's huge. A lot of you have probably seen the London Eye. Some of you have probably sat in it and enjoyed the view. The diameter of the turbine, of the blades, will be as big as the London Eye. So I was walking down there a month ago with my husband. And of course, working with this, you just sometimes tend to get used to the names. And I'm just walking beneath it. I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. I mean, the London Eye, imagine a wind park, offshore wind park, where you have hundreds of them just harnessing free wind. And that's really to put things into perspective.
Now, there's actually, I was going to say, you sort of talked about that to help our listeners visualise it. The movie we see during this talk is available online as well, I understand.
Exactly. It's on, if you go to www.vestas.com, and Vestas is spelled VESTAS, you'll be able to see these videos and to see how big they'll become one day. So one of the questions that we got today was also from the business life here is, it's very nice to have these visions and it's very nice to see, but how will you actually put this into action, this plan into action? How will you create the jobs? We've said that we're here in this region to create 2,000 jobs who will work at the manufacturing facilities. And one of the things that we're doing here today now is to talk to people, is to push forward the agenda and to get the support that we need to get in order to get the plans moving ahead. Yesterday I was out talking to young people at the train station, and they were telling me, well, we need jobs here. A lot of people are seeking job opportunities, but we don't see that many. So they're actually welcoming and hoping that we would come into this region. And of course, if you look at our track record, other places that we've been, and the places that we work here also in England, well, we see that we have actually 500 jobs in the UK. So when we say that we're here to create jobs, it's not just words. It is a job for you tomorrow. I mean, whether you'll become a person who will work with the blade itself, or you'll be a truck driver, there's a variety of different jobs which will be needed.
I suppose there's a whole infrastructure behind supporting this when it's built.
There is. And just building this new factory is a new infrastructure, because no one has ever built such a big turbine before. And that's why we need to build factories from the bottom up. So they're actually built for the purpose. And when we're sitting and designing this turbine, well, you could say, why did Vestas want to invent such a turbine? And this is also the questions that we got today. Well, it was because that our customers were showing us that there is a need for bigger turbines. They're asking for it. So what we do is based, of course, on the needs out there. And also because we're, of course, a business. So we don't just invent things just for the reason of inventing. When we say that we have a plan, and we intend to stick to it. Of course, with the support that we've gotten. So really, today we had a lot of different questions from the business life asking, so how long will a turbine last? How long will you stay here in Sheerness if you build a factory? And the lease is for 30 years. Imagine that. And 30 years from now, I mean, I'm not that old. I won't even be retiring in 30 years from now. So for a lot of young people, and also for those middle-aged or older, this could actually be an opportunity, not perhaps only for themselves. Yesterday I was talking to a girl, she was saying, I don't think I would work in such a place. And I was smiling. She said, but you know what? It might be a job for my dad or for my husband. So we're really thinking into the future.
That's what I was going to ask actually. When I spoke to Austin, I think it was about a week or 2 weeks ago now, he spoke about these consultations were going to be happening. A fair amount of them have happened now. You spoke a little bit about what people have been said. Have they been going well?
They've been going very positively, and I think Paul from the Peel port, he actually, because we do research and we do monitor, because we need to know what do people actually out there think about this? And I wrote it down. He said 98% are satisfied with this. And yesterday when I was asking people, I was asking, really be honest, is there a concern? And if there is a concern, let us know, because we need to understand in advance so we can figure this out. And people are generally positive, which is nice, because it helps us and it allows us to stick to this plan. And the plan is really, for those of you listening out there, the plan is to start producing in 2015, which is, I mean, that's in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's not that long off. The other thing I was going to perhaps ask is, Vestas is going to be building these and then you sell them on to the electricity companies, but do they then come back to you to sort of maintain them over their life period?
That's a very good question. The sites that we have now, we have also the servicing. And so the servicing is a very important part, because we actually have some of the most experienced staff out there. Vestas has been a pioneer of the offshore industry, offshore wind industry, and so the people that we have tend to stay with us, and they like to stay with us, also because we treat them good. But it allows us actually to continuously improve our customers' business, because our service and maintenance is a very high standard, and we tend to break the record over and over again, and we find new methods to actually do the servicing. One of the things that you might see in the future is also that since the power plants are located more far offshore the coast, you'll spend some time on transferring back and forth from the harbor to do the servicing. So what we're doing in Belgium is that we have a service ship where our technicians live on the ship doing the servicing, going from turbine to turbine. And if they have bad weather days, well, they can just go in and take some days off. So we're seeing also an innovation of that industry. And it is, because one thing is to build a wind power plant, but Vestas is also there to service and maintain it. And again, one of our most important aspects here is to bring value to our customers and to deliver a very high quality.
Now, we touched upon a bit that, when the planning permission comes through, you want it to be there for 30 years. Obviously, technology and demand will change. I assume, this factory is going to be built to adapt as time goes on.
Exactly. And Lars was saying today, the question was also asked today, Lars was saying, if you look back on our other sites and see how we've developed it, we always built our facilities so we're able to adapt and adjust. So let's just say there was a question today. There was a person asking, what if you have bigger turbines in the future? Will you be able to actually shift your production? And that, if you look at our history, well, we didn't always produce such big turbines. 20 years ago, they were much smaller. But Vestas is able to go in and change the production facilities, so we were able to adapt to the present needs. And that's also been part of our success. Vestas is today a global company operating, and in this financial hard times, Vestas is actually creating sound results.
One of the other questions I wanted to ask you is, when these wind turbines, their life runs out, whether that's sort of 30 or 40 years' time, is there a removal plan? Because we often see, old piers out on our coastline or wartime forts, and they're sort of still there, derelict and rusting away. What will happen with these wind turbines?
That's a very interesting question, and we also got this question today. And certainly, because we are in this renewable industry, we need to pay attention to the way that we actually not only produce, but also the way that we get rid of the material, or the way that we recycle. That's of paramount importance. Otherwise, no one would support this industry. Today, we're able to reuse 80% of everything which is taken down. And today there is research going on not only for Vestas, but on a national level, including all the players in the industry, finding out how can we become better at recycling the last 20%. But to your question, to be more specific, you're saying, will you actually take them down? How? And yes, there is a plan. There needs to be a plan. Otherwise, we would never get consent to actually put them up. That is of paramount importance. And this is something which is very important to Vestas. And I think it also links to our identity that we want to be as social responsible as possible. And sometimes it actually means that we go beyond the requirements set by the law, because we're here to create a clean and reliable source of energy. And we don't do that by leaving tracks behind us. We're here to do good for you and for me and for the future generations, basically.
Sara, thank you very much for talking to us here at BRFM on the Monday Night Community Show.
Well, thank you for having me. Have a good night.